Welcome to Mobile Device Manager Plus training. Let me start the session by introducing myself. My name is Induja. I'm a product specialist with ManageEngine and I'm your trainer for the day. So this training is scheduled for 3 weeks and we are on week 2 now. And today we will be talking about application management and device security. Our agenda for the day is as follows. Firstly, we will have an overview of Mobile Device Manager Plus, where we will have a general introduction and discuss the architecture of the product. This section will be helpful for those who are not familiar with the product yet. And the next section will be Application Lifecycle Management, which is basically where we discuss about the deployment, removal, and update of applications on the devices, along with the management of enterprise applications. The next section is securing data and devices, where we will be discussing the procedures to block or allow only certain applications or websites on the devices, management of device OS updates, and making sure that the device is not active outside a specific geographical location. In addition to these security features that are available for the managed devices, we will also see how to secure the data on the devices that are lost. And finally, we will be discussing a list of use cases and the corresponding solutions before ending the session. Mobile Device Manager Plus supports management of smartphones and tablets across the operating systems such as iOS, Android, and Windows. In addition to these mobile devices, we also support Mac OS and tvOS under Apple, and Windows 10 laptops and Surface Pro devices under Windows, as well as Chrome devices. So MDM is available as an add-on with Desktop Central, which is our unified endpoint management solution, where you can manage both Windows laptops and mobile devices using a single unified solution. If you're looking to manage only mobile devices, that is smartphones and tablets, you can go with our standalone solution, which is MDM Plus, the Mobile Device Manager Plus solution. If you want to manage the devices of different clients using a single instance, you can also choose our MSP edition of MDM. All these solutions are available on both on-premises and cloud versions. So when it comes to integrations, MDM can be integrated with our in-house help desk application, which is ManageEngine Service Desk Plus, and third-party help desk applications such as Spiceworks, Jira, Zendesk, and ServiceNow. And along with these help desk apps, it can also be integrated with Zoho CRM and Zoho Creator, which is our low-code application development platform as well. If you want to integrate MDM with any other third-party applications, then you can make use of our publicly available API that can be accessed using the link that is mentioned here. Let us take a look at the architecture of MDM now, which comprises 3 major components: MDM server, notification services that is provided by the OEM vendors, and the devices to be managed. MDM makes use of the notification services, which are APNS, that is Apple Push Notification Service for Apple, Firebase Cloud Messaging for Android, and Windows Notification Service for Windows. So it makes use of the corresponding notification service to wake the devices, and the device in turn contacts the MDM server to receive the commands to be executed. For a device to reach the MDM server from outside the network, you need to make sure that your MDM server is available on a public domain with the help of NAT configuration. But in some cases, this may raise a security concern, and for which we have an optional component called Secure Gateway, which facilitates the communication between devices and MDM server without having to expose the MDM server on a public domain. Here are the important ports that are used by MDM. If you want to take a look at all the available ports or the ports to be used for the functioning of MDM, you can refer the document that is available on the link below. So how exactly does MDM manage the devices? In case of Android, MDM mobile application will be installed on the device and that acts as the management tool. Whereas on the other OS devices like iOS, Windows and Chrome devices, there already is a device management capability on such devices. So MDM makes use of those management capabilities and leverages it to manage them using the native client itself. So we'll move on to the first topic for the day, which is application lifecycle management. So here is how the application management works. That is, before deploying any application to the devices via MDM, you need to build something called app repository under MDM server, which can contain both store applications and enterprise applications. So once the applications are added under app repository and distributed to the devices, if it's a store app, the device will contact the corresponding store and get the application installed. If it is an enterprise app, the device will reach the MDM server back, get the application file and get it installed on the devices. So let me take you to the MDM web console now, and I'll show you how to do this on the portal itself. So before moving on to the application management part, I will give you a brief walkthrough of the available applications on the MDM portal first. On the home page, as you know, you will have the basic details like the devices and applications that are available on MDM. You will have all the granular details about it. And device management is the tab about which we are going to discuss in detail during this session. So device management is where you have the actual management capabilities available, like deployment of applications, configuration of profiles, etc. And inventory is where you have the option to track the device location remotely, as well as finding the device information. Enrollment will be the first step in managing any device using MDM, because this is where you basically onboard the device to MDM's management. This topic was discussed in detail during the previous webinar session. So if you had missed the previous session, I would suggest you to refer the completed training video that is sent to you via email. If not, you can also request for a personalized demo session. You can request on the chat box here, so we can schedule it for you. Moving on, we have reports and admin tabs, which will help you in configuring the server settings and generating reports of your preferences. And support tab lets you reach us if you require any assistance with the product. So coming to the topic for the day, which is application management, we need to come to device management here, and here is where app repository is available. So as you see here, we do have the options to add both store applications and enterprise applications. So you can add whichever one that you require. As an example, let me add you some store application here. So you will first have to type in the name of the application, and from the suggestions that are shown, you will have to choose the application that you need to add right now. So let me just choose Zoho Creator here. So when you choose the application, you will find the application details being filled out automatically, post which you can click on next and configure the policies. So the first policy lets you remove the application when a device is removed from MDM's management, considering it's a business application. And the second policy prevents the user from backing the application data up on their personal iTunes or iCloud accounts. After configuring this, you can click on next and apply the configuration file if you have any specific configurations to be applied on the device. If so, you can upload the XML file here. If not, you can just skip it and click on the save option. After clicking on save, the application will get listed under the apps tab that we have seen earlier. So here you can just find the application available, and then you can distribute it to the required devices here. Under device management, move to groups and devices, navigate to devices application. And that's why we are filtering out the Apple devices here. So we can filter out the Apple devices, choose the device action, click on distribute apps, search for stored applications, and you can choose the application that you want to deploy and click on distribute it to app catalog option. We have silent installation also, but we will be discussing about it in a few minutes. So now you can choose the manual installation option. So what happens when you choose this option is that the application will get distributed to the device, but it will not get installed unless the user installs it manually using his or her iTunes credential. You can also notify the users by checking this option so they can know that the device is provisioned with an application and they had to install it. So you can choose this option and click on select. So the application will get added on the device. So let me take you to the screen where we show you how it will look like on the device. So on the device, you will find under app catalog, the application is available. And the user needs to click on install and provide the iTunes credential. After entering the credential, the application will start getting installed, and once the installation is complete, the remarks will be posted. So as you have seen now, every device should have an iTunes account for the installation of application, and user intervention is of course required when you go with the manual installation process. But what if the users are not technically viable to have individual iTunes account to be entered? Or what if you are going to deploy the application to multiple devices, like hundreds or thousands of devices at the same time? So in such case, you can go with silent app installation, which is provided by MDM. MDM lets you automate the app installation process with the help of Apple Business Manager for iOS devices and managed Google Play for Android devices. So the prerequisites for the silent installation is, the first thing, you need to have an account created with Apple Business Manager or Google. The second thing is the devices should be supervised in case of iOS devices. And in case of Android, it should be of OS version 5.0 or above. So the difference between supervised and non-supervised devices are discussed in detail during the previous session. So please do refer the completed training video of the previous session. Here is the workflow of silent app installation. The first step is to integrate your portal, be it Apple Business Manager or managed Google Play, with your MDM solution and purchase or get the applications from that portal, either ABM or managed Google Play. After approving it, the applications will get automatically listed under MDM due to the previous integration. And from MDM, you can distribute it to the required devices. And these applications will not ask for users' permission or users' credentials to get installed on the device. It will get silently installed. So let me take you to the MDM web console and I'll show you how to configure this. So when you move to device management, app repository and Apple app management, the page will look like this. You will have two options: configure apps for business or configure apps for school. So you can choose the one that is appropriate for your organization type to integrate Apple Business Manager or Apple School Manager. So here I'll click on configure apps for business, and it will ask for the server token to be uploaded, for which we need to move to ABM portal. And you can find the token under settings option across your organization name. It is available for download. You can just download it and you can upload it here. And please make sure to choose without Apple ID option, which is the main part in enabling silent installation. So when you choose this and when you click on upload token, the configuration will look similar to this. Your organization will get integrated here. And the next step is to get the applications on the ABM portal. So you can just move ahead and choose the application that you require. So as an example, we have chosen CRM application. You can choose it. And the first step is to check whether it is device assignable, because the main part for the application to get silently installed is it should be device assignable. So you need to make sure of that and choose the location to which the application license need to be added. Enter the quantity and click on get. So the application will get added here. You also have the option to transfer the the application license from one location to another location of your organization using the transfer option available here. And then the application will get organization name. So you will have to click on sync apps here. So the applications that are added on the ABM portal will get reflected on the app repository as well. So you can just choose the application here. After making sure that the application is available, you can move to the same path that we have moved earlier, groups and devices, navigate to devices, filter out the Apple devices here, choose the device and choose the action. And after selecting the required application, so you can just choose silent installation option because this application is added from ABM and it is enabled for silent installation. So you can just choose it and choose the corresponding option and click on select. So that particular application will get added to the devices, and on the device, it will look like this. The application will start getting installed automatically and the installation will get completed and the remarks will be posted on the MDM web console. Now that we have seen how to configure ABM, we'll move on to the managed Google Play part. But before that, a general recommendation from our end is if you are distributing any larger application, please make sure to have the device connected to Wi-Fi rather than mobile data. So moving on to managed Google Play here, you need to configure this under the same path as ABM, that is under device management, app repository, managed Google Play. So before you configure it, it will look like this. You will have G Suite and without G Suite option. Unless you are using G Suite already in your organization, it is always recommended to go with without G Suite option because it is much simpler and it will require only a fewer details compared to G Suite. So you can just click on it and you will be taken to the Managed Google Play portal where you can just click on Get Started and enter your organization name. And after providing the EMM provided to be managed engine, you can click on next and enter the key contact details of your organization. You can choose to enter the details here itself, or you can choose to set it later. And then you can agree to the terms and conditions and click on confirm, where the registration will get completed and the configuration will look something like this on the MDM web console. Your organization details will get fetched here. And then the next step is to add the applications. You can just click on add apps, where the Play Store layout will open up. You can choose the required application here and click on approve. So you need to approve it. With all the permissions and other requests from the app developer, you can just set it to keep it updated and click on save and sync. So the application will get accessory automatically. Application is synchronized app repository. You can move to groups and devices and distribute it to the required devices using the same path that we have followed earlier. You can filter out the Android devices here and distribute them to the devices. So once it's distributed, this is how it will look like on the device. So once you register the application, the configuration of managed Google Play, the work account will get added. And when the application is deployed, it will get installed automatically. One important advantage when you use managed Google Play is that you will have the option to configure the application permissions remotely. For example, on the Zoho CRM app that we have approved now, you can just choose the application and you will find a column named permissions. You can move there and configure the required preferences. So here, let me just allow contacts and say location, and let the other options to be controlled by the user. So if I click this permission and redeploy the application to the devices, this is how it will look on the device. The application will get installed, and when you check the permission, contacts and locations will automatically be enabled on the application, and the user will not have the option to disable it, while the other permissions can be controlled by the user. So now that we have deployed the applications either manually or silently via MDM, we'll see how to control the application updates. So before saying how to do that on the MDM web console, we'll see why should we control the app updates. The reason is the updated version to any application can contain the patch for the existing security issues, or it can contain the patch for the current issues that is affecting the productivity of an organization. So whenever an update is available on the device, it will be posted under app repository. But the prerequisites for it is the application should be purchased from ABM or managed Google Play, and it should be device assignable. So on the MDM web console, when the update is shown with this message, you can just click on the count and choose the application and deploy the updates to all the existing devices by clicking on update all, or you can move to distribution details page and update it to individual devices using this option. If you do not want to do this also, if you want this to be automated, we also have option for it, which is automate app updates. You can just enable this option. So whenever an update is available on the store, be it App Store or Play Store, it will get deployed on the devices automatically without any intervention from the MDM admin. So now that we have seen the management of store applications, we'll move on to the management of enterprise applications. For the management of in-house or enterprise applications, we always have these two questions. That is whether we should have an account with ABM or managed Google Play for enterprise applications, and do we have the option to test it before deploying it to the production environment? So the answer to the first question is no, you do not require any third-party account created for management of your in-house applications. And the second question is yes, we do have the option to test it before deploying it to the production environment. So let me take you to the MDM web console and we'll see how to add the enterprise apps here. So under add app option, you will find the enterprise app update option. You can just click on the required option, whether it is Apple Enterprise app or Android Enterprise app, you can just choose it and upload the required file here. So when you choose the application, it will take some time and it will get added to the app repository. After it is added, it will get listed under app repository here. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, so the application will get added here. So after it is added, if you want to upload an updated version, you can do that by clicking on upload new version. So here an updated version can be added. When you upload it, you will get a message that says there is an existing version available and this new version will be added as a beta version. So when you click on update, this will get added as a beta version and you will find a symbol that notifies the availability of beta version to the enterprise app under app repository. Now that it is loading, let me tell you the prerequisites for managing the enterprise application via MDM. For iOS, the devices should be supervised. That is, the devices should be enrolled as a corporate device. You can check what is a supervised device and non-supervised device in the previous session video. And for Android, it should either be Samsung device, or in case of non-Samsung devices, it should be provisioned as a device owner device. So as you see here, the updated version is uploaded and it is available as a beta version, and you can deploy it to your test bed before deploying it to the production environment. You can distribute it to a couple of devices, test the productivity, and then deploy it to the existing devices. So now that if you have tested the application enough, if you think the application is qualified enough for it to be deployed to the existing devices, you can just choose mark as stable option, which will replace the existing stable version, which is the 2.0 version, and it replaces the application on all the existing devices. So you need not separately deploy the application after testing to the production environment. So we have seen how to make sure that we need the business applications that we need are deployed on the devices, be it store applications or enterprise applications via MDM. Now we'll see how to prevent the installation of unwanted applications on the devices. So for that, we need to configure profile configurations under device management. You can move to profiles, click on create profile, choose the platform for which you need to create the profile. And then under restrictions, you need to move to applications part where you will have this option. So when you restrict this, users will not be able to install any application directly from Play Store or App Store by themselves. Only those applications that you deploy from MDM will get installed on the devices. Okay, now we have deployed the configuration in such a way that they cannot access applications of their own. But still, the web version of those applications will be available on their browsers. So to disable that as well, we have a separate policy, which is web content. So here you have the option to either allow or block the required URLs on the device browser. So you can choose allow and enter the URLs to be allowed on the device browser while the other URLs are restricted, or you can choose block option and give the URLs that are to be blocked on the browser while the rest of the URLs are accessible. You can also use wildcard domain, meaning if you enter the domain name alone, all versions of the URLs that are available under that particular domain name will get restricted. That is also possible. So after configuring all these policies, you need to click on save and publish, and then deploy it to the required group or device under the same path. Under device management, devices, you need to choose the required device and click on associate profile option. So you can just click on associate profile, choose the profile that you want to deploy and click on select. So now we have seen how to restrict the applications or URLs on the device. Now, how do we make sure that only selected applications are available on the device while the other applications are disabled? So this can be done with the help of kiosk profile, which also comes under the profiles part. So you can just click on kiosk profile. When you click on create profile, you will have it available already. You can just open that. And here you will have single app and multi-app kiosk mode. Let me explain what this is. If you go with single app kiosk mode and choose an application, for an example, let me just choose Maps application here. So if I choose this, The device will be provisioned with only this application, while the other applications are disabled. The user will not be able to exit this application also. Only this application will be accessible. Whereas if I choose multi-app kiosk mode and if I enter more than one application here, all these applications will be available on the screen. The users will be able to toggle between these applications, but cannot access any other applications because the other applications will be either disabled or hidden. So you can choose this one, and you can also configure your device restrictions. Like if you want the volume to be set in a particular level, and if you do not want the status bar to be expanded. So all those options can be configured here. And then we also have edit screen layout with which you can configure your icon size, and you can choose whether to enable or disable the dock here. Meaning you can have certain applications on the screen and certain applications, not so important applications, on the dock. You can also disable that. It is up to your requirement. So you can just customize this according to your preference, and you can save the policy, publish it, and then deploy it to the required device. So if I deploy a kiosk profile on the device, this is how it will look like. If it's a single app kiosk mode, the allowed application will be available. The user cannot exit it as well. Whereas on multi-app kiosk mode, you will have the allowed applications on the screen as well as on the dock according to your customized screen. So with the help of MDM, we'll see how to troubleshoot the devices when it has some issues and when the devices are outside the organization and the users are not technically viable. We do have an option called remote troubleshoot on MDM, with which you can tackle this situation. So here under device management, you can move to remote control option, where all your devices will get listed. You can choose a device that you want to troubleshoot and click on remote view or remote control. So here you can configure the remote troubleshoot in such a way that it should initiate the remote session only when the user allows it, or you can also configure unattended access, meaning you can just take control of the device even if the user is not available without the user intervention. So the remote session is getting initiated. And you're able to see the device screen here. As you see, the device is on kiosk mode right now, meaning only selected applications are available. So if you do not want the end user to know how to exit the kiosk mode and troubleshoot the issue, you can make use of certain commands like this. So you can exit kiosk here, which will pause the kiosk mode on the device temporarily. So the device will be brought back to normal mode, and then you can troubleshoot the device remotely. And once it's done, if your troubleshooting is done and if you want it to be put back on the kiosk mode, you can just enter kiosk again. So this will resume the kiosk mode on the device again, and only the allowed applications will be available on the device. Yeah. So the kiosk mode is resumed. So you will find only the required applications. You can exit the remote session by exiting here. So that is how you troubleshoot the devices remotely. And then the important part, which is how to make sure that the devices are not active or online outside a specific geographical location. So we can configure this with the help of a policy called geofencing that MDM provides. To configure geofencing, you first have to configure your fence repository. Fence repository is similar to app repository where you will be configuring all your required locations. So you can just click on create fence and set a fence here. As an example, let me just choose our office location. Yeah. And I can just set it to 1 kilometer. So the fence will be configured. If I click on create, the fence will be created and it will get added on the fence repository. After this, you can configure fence policy by clicking on create policy. Not within, choose the fence that you had created now immediately, and you'll have two options. If I choose notify and choose send email to admin, as soon as the device moves out, an email will be sent to the MDM admin stating that so and so device has moved out. If I choose action and if I choose lost mode though, the option called lost mode will get enabled on it automatically. I will explain what lost mode is. That option is available under inventory. I will take you through it in a few minutes. For now, you can know that lost mode gets enabled automatically. So the device will get locked down in such a way that the user cannot access anything else on the device. So it should be brought back inside the configured fence and notified to the MDM admin for the device to be brought back to the normal mode. So we'll now look into the management of device OS updates. So why should we manage the device OS updates remotely using an MDM solution? The basic disadvantages of running on an devices of older OS version is you will be missing out on the security patches. And as you know, the devices may get slower with time if the OS version is old. As an MDM admin, you can just let the end users update the OS version as soon as an update is available by themselves. That can be done as well. But the setbacks there will be a loss of productivity because every update will involve a factory reset as well. So the critical tasks of the end users may get disturbed with the lack of usage of the devices. And enterprise app incompatibility, this is an important point. As an organization, you might have deployed certain enterprise applications to the devices, and those applications may not be compatible with the latest OS version available. So you would not want the end users to have the latest OS version and get an issue with the enterprise app before you test out on your test bed first. And then bandwidth choking. Consider all your end users are updating their device OS at the same time inside your organization. Your network will definitely not be able to handle that intensity. So which is why we suggest you to go with scheduling and automating the OS updates via MDM. So to configure this, you need to move to device management and automate OS updates. So here you can just click on create policy and choose the platform and choose whether to deploy the update immediately or delayed for a certain number of days. And you can also choose your deployment schedule. That is when the deployment should begin. You can choose the deployment window and you can also notify the end users. If they are busy on a critical task, you can just let them skip the deployment also. So you can just configure the policy, save it, and deploy it to the required devices here. You can just choose the policy and deploy it. So these are all the major advantages for the automate OS updates, which is you will have to configure it only once. That is, once the configuration is done, you need not do it every time when an OS update is available. And as you had seen now, you have the option to delay the update deployment also. And you have the option to choose the deployment window as well. And you can notify the end users so they can skip it if they are on an important task at that moment. So now coming to the data security on the devices that are lost. So here is where our loss mode comes into play. As I said, we need to move to inventory to enable loss mode manually here. So you can just choose the device, and under actions, you will have enable loss mode option. So when you enable it, the loss mode will get enabled and the device screen will get locked down. Basically, the device will be bricked and the end user will not be able to access anything else other than reading the message that you have typed here. And if you want to provide a contact number, you can provide that as well. So if a random person picks up the phone, he can just dial it and get the device back to you. So you can just provide these details and click on next and provide a ticket ID for your internal reference and type in the required message and click on locate, which will send you the last location where the device had been to. So this is how you will be enabling loss mode manually. But if you are configuring geofencing policy, then loss mode will get enabled automatically when the device moves out of the configured fence. So what happens on the device when loss mode is enabled? This is how it will look like. So the device will be bricked and the message that you had given will be shown along with the contact number. So now let us move on to the final part of the session, which is the discussion of the use cases. So yeah, we have seen how to deploy the applications, manage them via MDM, etc. But how do we make sure that the users are not uninstalling the applications from the devices? So this can also be ensured with the help of MDM profiles. So under device management profiles, you can move to the same path, which is restrictions, applications, and you will have an option called uninstalling apps. You can restrict this option, which will prevent the end users from uninstalling any application that are deployed from MDM, or in other words, the business application. And the second scenario, this is an interesting one. Consider you have provided a corporate device, that is an organization owned device, to an employee, and that employee has added his personal Google account on the device. And when he leaves the organization as an MDM admin, you would want the device to be reset and reassigned to a different user. So you will be resetting it, but the device will prompt for the last Google account that is added on the device. This behavior is called factory reset protection that happens on Android devices with OS version 6.0 and above. This is introduced basically to ensure individual security on devices, to make sure that the device is not reset by any other person than the one that had been using the device all along. So when it prompts for the end user, ideally you should be getting hold of the previous user and get his credentials to bypass it. But since it's a corporate device, it is not an ideal scenario. So with MDM, you can bypass it if you had configured EFRP policy. EFRP is Enterprise Factory Reset Protection. So here, you can make use of any Google ID that you use in your organization. It can be a Google ID that your IT team uses, or it can be any common Google ID that you use in your company. You can just enter it. You can enter as many email IDs as you require. And you need to save this policy and publish the profile and deploy it to the devices. So when a device gets stuck on an FRP scenario, you can make use of any one of these alternate emails to bypass the situation. You need not get hold of the previous user. That is the advantage here. So you can recover the device by yourself. Yeah. The next scenario is, we all know that with MDM, you can track the device location remotely. But how do we ensure that the users are not disabling the GPS settings on the device? So you can continue tracking the device location. That can also be done with the help of profiles. Under restrictions, location settings, you can set this to always on. That is, the location services is being set to always on, so the user will not have the option to disable it. So GPS setting will be enabled and the device will have the internet settings. These two are the prerequisites for MDM to fetch the device location. So having that in place, you can continue fetching the device location remotely without any interruption. Yeah. The next scenario is, consider you have certain drivers in your organization and you have provided corporate owned devices to them. And during their work hours, they should not be able to access anything else other than specific applications. This can be done on iOS devices with MDM. Let me just show you how to do that. You need to create a profile for that as well. Open the profile, choose the platform as iOS. And here under kiosk mode, you will have an option called autonomous apps. So autonomous apps, if you choose, for an example, if I choose the Maps application to be the autonomous app here, then during the work hours or during the time that is configured by the MDM admin, the device will be locked with a single app kiosk mode, having the Maps application on the device, and the user will not be able to access anything else. That is how autonomous apps works. The important points to note here is not all applications are supported, not all applications support autonomous apps. There are certain parameters that are required. You can just click on this link to know more about it. So only selected applications can be put on autonomous apps. And you need to have the configuration incorporated on the app code itself. That is the timing during which the application should be logged in the kiosk mode, and what should be the work hours. So all those options should be incorporated by the app developer itself. The configuration cannot be added via MDM. So that is an important point. But you can log the device on single app kiosk mode via MDM. That brings us to the end of this session. So if you had found this session useful, please rate us on a scale of 1 to 5, where 5 is the best. And we would also like you to spread a word about our free training on all the social media platforms. The next training is on next week, and the topic is modern management of Windows and Mac at the same time, that is 11:30 Eastern time. Thank you so much for your valuable time.